Welcome. This is my step-by-step guide to delivering top quality work. My name is Bukola. I'm a Big Four audit manager here in the UK, a career mentor and an inspirational speaker. And I'll be sharing with you the things you need to think about, this step-by-step guide to delivering top quality work, especially on your job. And I need you to save this. Make sure that you come back to this video from time to time because something may just click again. So the first thing I need you to understand is this, that you must understand the why behind every task that you do. Don't just do things because they've been handed off to you to do. Don't just do things because, oh, my boss asked me to do it. The question is, why? Feel free to ask them, where does this fit in the broader picture? You will be shocked that if you're ambitious but you're not curious, it will be unforgivable because you need to be asking the right questions for you to unlock how everything fits together. Beyond that, you can add your own insights, your own experiences, your own views, if only you understand where this fits. If you don't understand why you're doing it, you're just going to be doing a tick box exercise, and you don't want to be doing that. So the first thing is to understand. So and if you look at your bosses at work and you look at your reviewers and your supervisors, you will see that they will begin to appreciate you more when they see you have a mind of your own to ask your own questions. So feel free, don't just take things from them. In fact, the more questions you ask them, the more they begin to see the loopholes in their own knowledge as well. There have been several situations that I, as a manager, have actually asked my team to do something, and I kind of have a fair idea where we're trying to get at. But from having conversations back and forth, we're beginning to say, oh, actually, we think we may need something from another team, and we think we may need something from another team. And that may have been because someone was asking the right questions. So I need you to feel empowered just right after this video to ask the right questions so that the work that you do can feel as important to you as it needs to be. Okay? Now, the second thing I'm going to say to you is make sure that you're doing a deep work instead of light touch, just skimming things. When you are asked to do something, you just skim through it, you just do it anyway. Okay, this was how we've done it before, let's just do it exactly the way we've done it before. It doesn't always work that way. When you pick up a piece of task, do it to a decent level, to a level that you feel comfortable with. Don't hand over a piece of task when you know deep down within you that this work could be better. Now, it's different if you've done everything you think that you can do, and then it goes higher up, and then there are some other points, some stylistic comments and all of that. That is absolutely fine. But at the point where you are releasing your work to go out, make sure that your name isn't stamped on mediocrity. Make sure that if there is as little as a comma you need to change, now that you have control over making those changes, that you absolutely do them. You need to ask yourself, what can I do to make this work better? And another thing you can do is, what I personally do when I finish a piece of task, now it depends on whoever is around me. I also tell my junior team members to have a look at the tasks that I've done and just have a quick review of the work that I've done. You'll be shocked. Yes, I tell them too, because I want to also have an idea. I want a third eye or a second eye or a fourth eye looking at it and letting me know if there's something they think. So you ask yourself, what can I do to make this work better? Another thing you can do is, when you finish a piece of work, give yourself enough room to review that work that you have done. And this is how it works best, because people will say, oh, self-review of your work, but they won't tell you this. And that is why you're following me, and that's why you're going to learn a lot from me. This is what you're going to do. Let's say you finish that piece of work today. Already you've built in that review time into the time it takes to get the work done. Don't review it immediately you finish it, because you're not going to catch your own mistakes. Don't do it. Give it at least some hours, or at least a day. So sometimes I finish something like maybe an email draft that needs to go to a large group of people, or I finished a memo, or I've written a report. I will leave it for at least one day, then I'll come back the next day, book in some time to actually review it as though somebody else did it. Then I will read it. Then it will make more sense to me, and I'll be able to pick because now I'm coming to it with fresh eyes. So it will look as though I am reviewing that work, even though I did it. So it's quite key for you to take cognizance of these types of things. Sometimes another thing you can think about is, if a piece of work has been done before, maybe it's a report, someone else has done it before, but now it's being handed over to you to do. What makes you different, or what makes you the difference, is that you are not handing off that report exactly the same way. No changes, no formatting changes, no grammatical correction, no added insights like a table, like some graphs, like some charts, like some nice designs. There just has to be something that you are adding to it compared to before. That is what makes you the difference. So I need you to pay attention to that. Okay, the next thing I'm going to say to you is that you need to learn to iterate. Learn to iterate. So for instance, you've done a piece of work, it has gone through reviews, those comments have come through, you've embodied those comments in the new draft, you've shared it, is all done. The next time you're going to do that same type of, it doesn't have to be exactly that task, it can be that type of task, but maybe you're doing it for somebody else, or somebody else is doing it for you. Take the learnings you've taken from the initial project or task, bring those learnings on board. I've seen situations where I've worked with someone on a particular report, or I've worked with someone on a particular project, and there were some insights they shared that I really did not know about before. I really found like, oh, this is good. When I go on to another project, I will be sharing those insights as well. So that improves me. That makes me into an experienced person, because I've experienced those situations before where I have to learn those insights. Now I'm bringing them on board. So get into that rhythm of iterating and improving based on feedback. It is quite key. The next thing I'm going to say to you is this, that detail is your friend. Don't get into the habit of just skimming through things. Before you attend that meeting, they've sent you the agenda, they've sent you the things that will be discussed, they've told you you'll be presenting in 2 minutes, you have some 2 minutes to present. Prepare, get into the detail, okay? Small errors can undermine the quality of your work. So get into the detail, read, think about it. Now, last week something happened. I was tapped to do a presentation for like 2 minutes in a very large meeting, and I prepared the slides I was going to use alongside my team. But on the day of the presentation, I remembered that that particular thing I was going to talk about needed to be aligned with another piece of work that another team was doing. And I know at the time I was going to present it, my big bosses were going to be on that call. I know that at that time, those other teams should have completed their aspect of the project so that it can be aligned. So what did I do that afternoon? I went to look for their own reports and make sure that our wording aligned. And when I got into the meeting, there was no question, because I had aligned it, because it makes sense that I had to make that alignment. Now, you want to make sure that detail, you need to pay attention to the detail. You want to make sure that everything that you think may be asked, can be requested, needs to be fixed, is fixed before you present yourself and you present your work. That is quite key. So make sure you're always reviewing your work for accuracy and for completeness. It is important that you do this. The next thing I'm going to say to you, if you want to continue to produce top quality work, is to read about the work that you do. People appreciate those who know. And beyond those who know, those who apply what they know. So you need to read about the work that you do, so you remain relevant, you remain accurate in your in the points of views that you share, and people just generally trust you to be on top of your game. So pay attention to this, okay? Pay attention to this. Make sure you read about the work that you do. I know, as I always say, book out some 15 minutes or 30 minutes on a daily basis to read about the work that you do. You don't want to join the other people who are those people who are always saying things like, someone said. They only learn by what someone said, not necessarily by what they go to find. So make sure that you're finding enough knowledge and you're updated about the work that you do. Now, for you to continue to produce top quality work, I need you to make sure you're shouting when you feel overwhelmed. Now, overwhelm is the enemy of top quality work. Overwhelm is the enemy of outperformance. When you have too much to do, you will be spread thin and you will not be able to deliver performance or outperformance on any single task, because there's just so much you're doing, right? So if you feel like your plate, what is on your plate is too much for you to deal with, you need to be screaming, because every single time you present something to someone who is supposed to be your boss, they will be making a judgment about your performance, and they'll be making a judgment about how they perceive you. So every time, even though you just have too much to do, that is why you're giving them mediocre pieces of work that will not count by the time your performance reviews are being done, or your performance review is being done. So I need you to pay attention to this. If you feel overwhelmed, please shout, so that what is on your plate can be reviewed from time to time, and you can make sure that you are doing the right amount of work that gives you the chance to outperform others. The other thing I will say is, sometimes it may not be the case that things will be taken necessarily out of your plate. Is that when you're having those conversations, you can agree on priorities and you can give yourself enough time to do the best at every single time. The next thing I'm going to say to you is, make sure that you are collaborating with very brilliant co-workers. Your co-workers are there to support you. They are a support system. If you only could do it, then it would have been just you doing it. But you have co-workers, and some of them are very brilliant at some aspects of the work. So if you know that they are so good with a particular aspect, collaborate with them, see if you can get some insights with them, and embed it in the work that you're doing, so that you can continue to outperform. And I mean, you are not going to be the best at every single aspect of your work, right? There's some people, they're very good with communication, I used to have a team member then. It was my senior associate at the time. It was so good. His confidence was top notch. And at the time, whenever we got into any meetings, the way he would handle the client meetings, the way he would, his confidence, the way he would present the things, everybody would be, it was just really good at that. And I really wanted to give him more opportunities around that too. Whenever we're going to lead our do our weekly client meetings, I'll put him in front and make sure that he is having those conversations, because number one, it projects the team well, and number two, it helps him thrive in something he knows how to do very well, right? There are other aspects of the job that others may be very good at, then I'll make sure that others are also well situated to do those things, while he focuses on the ones that he can do very well himself. So make sure you're collaborating with your co-workers to get the very best for your teams. The very last thing I'll say is to make sure that you are self-assessing yourself from time to time, and you keep checking in with yourself, having asking yourself those tough questions, and answering them in terms of generally, how is my work like, and those people who are experiencing me, what do they think about my work? And part of it is through your maybe annual performance reviews or biannual performance reviews, but you can also go out of your way to have informal feedbacks with people to say, what can I do better on my work right now? I hope this has been helpful. If it has, please make sure you leave me some likes, share this, and also leave me some comments. And if you would like to join my community, I've got an amazing community, the Career Mastery Hub. If you want to join my community, there's going to be a link in the description box that you could click on to join my community for ongoing support on almost a daily basis, to make sure that you continue to build a profitable career and personal brand. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Remain fantastic.